Oh,
And
I
then
thought
we
you were
keep coming
recording.
back to the mystery and not knowing,
Okay.
and that's
Yeah.
cool. So I don't know. We'll see.
Um, yeah. Part of me also kind of feels like we'll let the title kind of come in on its own.
Oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean?
I
Like
like
let
that.
it
Uh
let
huh.
it kind of marinate
That's nice.
a little bit. But I think we should probably nail down a
More just like
title.
I don't even know what to say if I'm gonna say it to someone. I'm gonna go do with some
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
with my
yeah,
boy Tim.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know, it's nice that we don't know.
yeah. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah,
And
it's
we
we're
don't seem to get that,
that's
which is even better.
which is even better.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and I think like it's when I think back about our original intention in wanting to even do this,
Mm-hmm.
it was really to simply just have the conversations, and
Yeah.
just create the space for us to like hang out and have these
Hey,
conversations
I
without really any knowing.
like that you've hit record, and we've already fallen into like the greatest trap that we all fall into, which is labels. Like we put
Yeah,
labels on shit.
yeah,
Oh, that's that. How do we know it's that? It's because I say it is. I
yeah.
say it is that.
Right.
And I really feel that while it can be freeing in some capacity, we trap ourselves with this shit more often than
Mm,
not.
mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
I'm a loser.
yeah,
What?
yeah.
I'm a loser, man. I can't seem to catch a break.
Right.
Based on what?
Yeah,
Oh, this story and that story and that story. But we reinforce the very things that we don't like anyone else to do to us. We don't want anyone else to be like, you're a loser.
yeah. Right, right, right.
But
Yeah.
when we do it, it's okay. That is right there, like why we need to be having these
For
conversations.
sure. Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. And like labels, I think are, yeah, something I know from my own experience. Like it's such a unconscious thing
Right.
that I do to put a label on something. And, for me, I think it also comes back to this theme that we've also been talking about quite a bit around certainty. And to me, the label feels like a way for me to, yeah, like understand it in my head and in my brain and in my mind,
Mm.
um, as a way to, yeah, like be able to kind of conceptualize it in a way that like makes me understand it so that I feel safe around it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I know what this is. I'm
Yeah.
certain about what this
Yeah.
is. And therefore it feels safe. It feels like it's okay to
Yeah.
be in it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think that like we, I think there's also another layer to it as well. As I'm thinking about this and what's coming up for me is like, it also helps. And you were just sharing this as well, like illustrating how when you were trying to share what the title is of this to somebody else,
Yeah.
right?
Someone's like, hey, what box have you put it in? And I'm like,
Exactly. Yeah.
a box? Oh, I need to put it in a
I
box.
need to put it
That's
in
what
a
I need to do.
box. Yeah.
And now, just I'm so happy you fucking had that perspective of like, why?
Yeah. Why do we have to put it
Why
in
do
a
we have to
box?
do that? And
Yeah.
I just love this as a larger idea because I think we're all skilled at the art of like compartmentalizing,
For sure.
you know?
Yeah.
And I think you brought it up in the very first conversation we had, and I'm really happy you did because this notion of survival. So much of our
Mm.
choices today was survival as a way to be like, oh, it's gonna be okay,
Mm-hmm.
like to protect ourselves. So
Yeah.
this is the story I'm gonna give for that thing, and this is the story for that thing, and at least I know that.
Mm.
But there is something gorgeous and scary when we start to collapse that.
Yeah.
What if it isn't that? What if I am more than the stories I tell myself? What if I am able to do the things I want to do or believe that I'm able to do them?
Mm.
That means I have to get rid of other stories around,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I'm incapable or I didn't have a good enough childhood or people didn't love me enough to do the things to love myself. No, that's all on you.
Yeah.
And it's always
Yeah.
been on you.
Mm.
And it's that, man, I was just thinking about this. I wrote it just to remember it's above my desk. And It's this gorgeous Carl Jung quote. It's the world will ask you who you are, and if you don't know, the world will tell you.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was like, I think something like roiled up in my tummy. I was like, it's wrong. I don't like this quote. And then I realized like it's because like you've got a lot of stories
Yeah.
about like, oh, I wanted to do this, but then the world, I didn't know enough. I didn't trust myself enough. So the world was like, well, you're over here now. I'm putting you in this box. But I never liked it.
Yeah.
And the truth be told, I put myself there as well.
Yeah. For
And
sure.
I think so. It's like this like constant fucking thing.
Yeah.
About
No, I
certainty.
couldn't agree more, man. And that's something this was like a really radical shift for me as well in my life, and like especially in the last 3 years or so, when like not necessarily by choice. I think in some ways it was like an unconscious thing, but I was going through this period of my life where like my identity, all of these stories, all these labels were just crumbling around me.
Yep.
And I realized, I was like, I am ultimately responsible for all of them, for this identity and like the boxes that I put myself in, the labels that I've attached to myself. Sure, yeah, well, I adopted them as a survival mechanism as a kid, for sure.
Yeah.
And to survive, right? And also, yeah, like they were told to me, and so like, yeah, I just believed it.
Yeah.
And that's what the world put me in.
Yes.
Which isn't a bad thing necessarily. And I think we all go through, kind of the same process, but um, learning that as an adult now and where I am in my life, yeah, I'm 100% responsible for all of those stories and all of those labels.
Yeah.
And the process of letting go, the process of, yeah, creating that space for new labels, let's say, or just new, like, yeah, perspectives, new ways of being, new ways of existing to emerge is my responsibility.
Right.
Like that process is something that only I can do.
Yes.
And that was such a profound like shift for me because one of the labels that I had and stories I had about myself was like being the victim. Right? Always being the victim of my circumstances, of my fate, of my whatever, right? In relationships, in work, in all the different things. It was like, I'm just a victim, right? Like life is just happening to me as well. And so, yeah, like really understanding and sitting with like, what does it mean to me to be fully responsible for everything in my life, including these stories and labels, was a big shift for me to really start to be like, oh, okay, yeah, like that feels so much more empowering for me to start to go through this process. And like it's still really fucking scary and still really fucking hard, but yeah, and now as I'm kind of coming out of the other side of this big growth period, let's call it, yeah, I just feel like I'm starting to see the ways that I'm still trying to fit into different boxes and different labels, and just being like, nah, that ain't it, man. That ain't it, man. And I'm responsible for that. And now I'm at a place where I can choose. I can have the awareness of where I'm wanting to go back into those boxes and labels because they feel safe and they feel familiar. But also, yeah, like with this responsibility and ownership of it, it's like, no, I can choose. I can choose something different. I can choose a different way and a different path. And yeah, seeing what emerges from that.
Well, firstly, I just want to thank you for having the courage, the cojones, man, to say that shit out loud. That's one of the hardest ones. And I think, I don't know, whoever's watching out there, like for me, it's like I feel like that resonates for so many people, especially myself. And I think the large truth is when you start to do the work of, it's what they call like radical acceptance, like just accepting what is, like, oh,
Yeah.
this is that story. I've been telling it for, I can't even remember that, a long time. Oh shit. But just accepting it, just let it happen, put it down, write it out, like just vomit it, like get rid of it. But then the larger truth is realizing that it's always been a choice, and that everything is a choice. And like the large one for me that like grows and grows on me, and this is the other thing, because you have to, well, there's a willingness, you're like, all right, like good things come from doing the work. But now I have to always be accountable. Like I can't slip. And if I do, I watch myself. I'm like, dude, you slipped, man. And that was pretty bad. Like you had a choice, you gave it up. And I'm not happy with you. Like, I don't feel good about this. So there is like, you can't be as blind anymore. You can't like close your eyes as easy. I think that's a good thing overall.
Yeah. 100%.
But as in like, we have a choice to do good or not so good in any given moment.
Yeah.
You know, like to tell a story that's honest, or to tell a story that's more Instagram ready, like a little more varnished, a little more like, you know, life's pretty good right now. Actually. Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Is it? That's for sure. I didn't know that. You know, that was the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, and I appreciate you so much for sharing that and bringing that up too. And it's something I've been also sitting with as well for myself around, like the noticing of when those moments when I do choose an old pattern or an old story or belief about myself. And like having that awareness. Now I totally agree. Like it does come with such a new level of accountability to ourselves, which is such a beautiful thing to be able to just have more awareness of like, like our blind spots, and which we all have. And we always have, I believe, you know, it's not like one day we just wake up with, with no blind spots or nothing to like do. And that truth as well, I think has helped me to also shift the way that I approach, because with that accountability, one thing I noticed often coming up for myself was a lot of shame in those moments where I was like, fuck yeah, like I did that again. Or I said that again, or I felt that same way in that experience again. Even though I have the awareness of it, even though I know that there's another way, another option, and I still chose to do it. And there was always just a lot of shame, and then oftentimes still is a lot of shame when I noticed that. And I think one thing that's been helpful for me is like kind of coming back to this idea of like this process of still choosing old patterns and still choosing old beliefs and also choosing new ones. It's just part of being human. It's like part of being this human experience. And so that really helped me to start to just, I don't know, feel the shame, but also, like kind of let go of it a little bit, to be like, just because I chose this old thing in that moment, it's like, it didn't feel good necessarily in my body. And I also feel this maybe like regret and this shame around it. But that's part of being human. And I that's sort of like what I always come back to too, is what I'm realizing is, I think for a long time when I first started getting into this work, it was always about like the destination. Like, how do I get to the place where I never feel the shame, where I never feel the...
Excuse me, do you know the way to happiness?
Exactly.
I get it. We all, me too.
It's like, let me just get to that place. And when I get there, everything will be good. And now I'm, kind of coming back to it. Now there's almost kind of this sense of like, when I do fuck up or have those moments where like I maybe choose an old pattern or whatever it is, I kind of just smile and laugh to myself a little bit, to be
Thank you, brother.
Oh man, like, we did it again, here we are. And what a hilarious thing, to be like consistently still in this process and in this human experience. And yeah, navigating through life. And yeah, I don't know, man. It just, to me, it's like, and one last thing I'll
No, no,
share about
no.
this, but just this is also something that's been coming up for me that really, like, when I first kind of, I don't know, had this thought or this idea, it really like kind of lit me up in a way that I wasn't expecting, which was that like it makes life just feel like this game to play rather than this like really intense, serious thing that I have to figure out all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, even now, that I still feel some resistance to it. That feels like it's from past labels and past boxes that I've been in
Yeah.
to be like, no, life is serious. Life is this, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, man. What if life is just this game that we're all playing? Yeah, like, what does that look like for me? And I think part of that is, yeah, in those moments, recognizing the absurdity of it all.
Oh, I
You know,
love it.
recognizing,
Yeah.
and we were kind of sharing this a little bit too in our last conversation. Like, even in those deepest, most serious moments, and I forget who the quote was. I think it was Charlie Chaplin, where
Oh,
he was
yeah,
saying
yeah,
that
yeah.
is like, even in the most serious moments of life, the absurd is right there.
Yeah.
It's equal parts there, and so yeah, being able to hold both of those things to
Hmm.
me helps me to remember, like, oh yeah, like it's just all a game
And
that we get to play.
man, well, one, just like, I just want to say, like, you lit me up inside. Like,
Mm.
it's like this sense of like, like, it's like a mirror. It's beautiful to hear you say that, because one of the truths that I've really been like, just sort of been like coming into focus for me. And I'm like, aha! It was really helped along by reading this amazing Buddhism book by Alan Watts, just called Buddhism.
Mm.
But is that life increasingly for me, and this will just be an interesting testament as like a record of, I'm saying it now, we'll see
Yeah.
what life brings me down the line.
Right.
But life being a divine comedy, like,
Mm.
if
Yeah.
I'm, and I don't know where it comes from me. For me, I think it's quite innate. Like, it's like wired into my DNA, and then also maybe having an Irish father. But it's like I laugh at myself a lot.
Mm.
So, take the case in point of like tripping over on the street. I will be prone to laugh out loud, like, you muppet, like, you ding
Yeah.
dong, like, you saw the step and you still fell over, like,
Yeah.
because why not? And there's that gorgeous line I really love, like, if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Mm.
And I do think there's something gorgeous to having a giggle when we're sad, but as in finding a way, the perspective, like,
Mm.
who else might see this and be like, that's kind of funny? Like,
Yeah.
now, it's not to say, oh, is death funny? Is like dying of cancer funny? It's like, no, that's not what I'm trying to get at here. Just that, like, there are moments where we can turn and laugh. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I did that thing again. The thing I told myself I wouldn't do, I did it.
Yeah.
Oops. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I think to your point, like, and I'm so glad you said that as well. Around this last piece, and like, again, this I even feel it now as it's coming up. There's this part of me that's like wanting to say this thing or share it, which I will, but I still also feel the resistance and like the constriction of these older boxes, these older labels around what I should and shouldn't say.
yeah, sure.
But to this last point around this, you know, because I have this thought too sometimes when I hear people talk about this in this way around, yeah, like certain experiences, like, death, and especially now with like everything that's happening in the world,
Mm-hmm.
there
Especially.
is such a degree of seriousness to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not in denial of it. It's not in a way to try to mitigate it in any way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for me, what I'm learning is that recognizing the absurdity of it all as well, like that it's there
Yeah.
in these moments, helps to um, just create this sense of like fullness to the experience. Because I think when we just focus on one or the other,
Yep.
It's like, oh, if I don't laugh, I'll cry, and if I don't cry, I'll only laugh. And to your point, it's like sometimes I'm laughing with tears rolling down my face, and that to me is like a full human experience.
Thank
You know what I
you.
mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
yes, like it breaks my heart to see what's happening in the US. It breaks my heart to see what's happening globally around the world in all these different areas of conflict. And it is so sad and it is so fucking heartbreaking. And there's a part of me that recognizes just the absurdity of it all. The absurdity of like these ridiculous men in positions of power making these absolutely absurd decisions and making a complete shit show of it all.
Uh-huh.
And you know, I recognize too that I'm in a very privileged place to be able to have that perspective in a lot of ways, and I can't even imagine what it might be like to be closer to it. But I think what I'm trying to get at is that I think there's the opportunity in all of these moments to be able to expand our awareness to hold both
Oh, thank you.
rather than just fix it. And I think again, like we are so conditioned to be so narrow minded and narrow focused on one or the other because there's for whatever reason just this belief that that's what feels safe or that's what is right or wrong or I don't really know to be honest, but that's just what I'm noting for myself is like, yeah, in each moment, how do I just bring my awareness to hold all of it at the same time? And that to me feels like such a richer experience in life.
Man, fucking yes to all of it, my friend. It's like, I'm just gonna throw out like just one conspiracy theory here.
Hell yeah.
Because why the fuck not?
Why
All
not?
right.
Yeah, let's get into it.
But it's like society wants you to be. Society wants you to be. Because what do they get out of it? Well, usually this leads to fear.
Yeah.
Fear of losing it all, fear of people being hurt, fear. And what happens with fear? Like, well, as a rule, like whatever you're told to do, is what you do. Like, pick that side. You have to pick a side. All right, well, which side am I picking? And it's like the gorgeous thing that you also added to this. And, like if I think about a very important period for me as someone that loves human history, but like the 1960s and 1970s, this countercultural revolution, which is what we are now espousing. This is what so many of those teachers of that time were saying as well.
Yeah.
But it's like, be here now, awaken, look around you. Like, see the whole truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was scary for society, like
Right.
for the powers that be, because it's like if they see all of it, they're going to see we've been doing some pretty bad things, And okay, lo and behold, my goodness, we found out quite a few things at that present moment from opening our eyes and paying attention.
Yeah.
But I think the more beautiful truth, the one that we're on this couch for, is like that it's bigger than us, And then we realize, like, I'm happy and I'm sad. Wait, what? And maybe you're feeling so many other emotions. It's not just one box or two boxes.
Right.
It could be the whole fucking wardrobe that you're feeling in any given moment. And we only learn that from paying attention.
Yeah.
Having our eyes open.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I love that, like, kind of comparison. And it is like, to your point, like that conspiracy theory, I don't even know if you could really call it that, but like,
for me, it's a bit of absurdity that I love to.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I feel it too, man. Like it really is something. And again, this comes back to another thing that I feel this sort of tension within myself of old boxes, old labels, old identities versus what's feeling true for me now. Which is, yeah, like when I used to hear people rail against like, society and like, yeah, I was always like, whatever, man. Like I was just like, I don't know. I had this judgment that I held towards them.
Sure.
And yeah, now just having gone through the life experiences that I have, I guess what feels true for me with all this is like, I think you're right in that there is this sense of, okay, if we are only narrow focused on, the seriousness of it all, it keeps us within the status quo,
Yeah.
which keeps those like in power in where they are. And yeah, I think change is always really scary, and I think people will always be resistant to it no matter what. And so yeah, like I also have this really deep thing that I don't even know if it's a thing. It's really, this is like a core belief of mine, a core value, let's call it. Like I always believe in like the inherent good in people. So even
Beautiful.
people who are in power, even people who I don't believe that like it's truly conscious, or maybe it is, but like I can recognize the fact that, and this isn't to not rid them of any accountability or
Sure.
responsibility for their actions, but to just also be able to recognize that like we're all products of our environments in some ways. And like we said, we all have adopted strategies and mechanisms for survival to keep ourselves safe. And so, yeah, like there's just this part of me that like has a really tough time really believing that like from this conspiracy kind of perspective that like there's just this group of men, most likely straight white men, who are just pulling the levers on like all of society. And I just that I think that's more of like a metaphor, rather than like the actual truth of what's happening, which I get for sure. But yeah, I do find that like as I'm kind of going through different experiences and navigating in life, like I couldn't agree more that the more that we expand our awareness, the more that we're able to see and feel within ourselves, that we're able to just hold more of like the truth of each moment, the truth of each experience. And that's something too that like I've started to come back to as well. And as I've looked back at so much of what I've gone through in the last few years, like, ending an engagement, losing my job, moving across the world, like all these things, there were moments where I was like, I couldn't see the absurdity of it. It's like you're so deep in it where you're just like, it's just feeling like I'm in the void, and I'm like, all right, this is it, man.
This
like,
is horrific.
This is horrific.
Bad as it's gonna
this
get.
This is the lowest of the lows. With also definitely like some major highs too, to go with all that. But when I really look back on it now, I'm so grateful for all of those experiences. Like I forget what the quote is exactly, but there's one that I really love, which is like, heartbreak I think is such a beautiful thing, because if anything is worth like if anything is able to break my heart, to like shatter it open, like that was something worth doing. That was something worth experiencing in life. And yeah, it's like the way that I want to live and approach life is to live a full life. Like I don't want to go through my entire life without ever getting my heart broken. That's like the most depressing thing I've ever heard. How tragic would that be, to go through life without ever getting my heart broken? And without ever taking any risk, without ever feeling what it's like to, like be broke, or to be really rich, or to be, any of these things. Like that, I think that's, as we begin to expand this awareness and what we can see, I think there's this, and I think this is growing collectively big time.
Right.
As we've talked about, there's this like such homogenization happening with so much in the world, that we are yearning for just more, more awareness, to see like what is outside of us,
Yeah.
and to live and to experience life in just a deeper, richer way.
And I just want to jump off. Wow. But man, so many beautiful things. But it's like with awareness, I just thought about this, comes authenticity.
Yeah.
But authenticity in terms of what's right for you.
Yeah.
And it's not this. I get really upset about this idea of like, oh, what's authentic, what's not. It's just what's right for that person,
Right.
whoever that person is.
Yeah.
Like they speak this way. You might not like it, but that's authentic to them. Like that's who they are. And I just think that on its own. Just one other thing, because I just think it's a really important one. This beautiful idea, wrapping up the conspiracy theory angle. I really loved your insight on this notion of the people at the top, like these notion, this like blanket, whatever we give it to these, the swamp or the evil people or whatever it is.
Right.
They're human beings, one.
Yeah.
But when we start to do the work, when we start to like put ourselves under the microscope and realize how much bullshit we've got to get rid of, and like all this spring cleaning, forever like spring cleaning, like, oh, that doesn't belong to me. Oh, I don't like that I say that. Why am I doing this? Oh, it's awful. The more empathy we have for everybody else.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the thing I have to keep checking myself on is like I hear certain people saying things and it pisses me off. And then I like put myself under the microscope and I'm like, it's because you say that shit.
Yeah.
That's why you're annoyed.
Yeah.
You know? And you're doing the work and you're trying to get better at it. Well, you've only just figured that shit out.
Yeah.
So be patient with everyone else,
Right.
all right? Like be nice.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Yeah, that's something that I'm so glad you brought that up as well. Because I think the empathy thing is like so critically important. And I think it's honestly like now that you're saying it, I'm so glad you brought that up and just said that word, because I think like it really is starting to get lost in a lot of these messages and like teachings that are coming out around wellness, growth, like spirituality, like whatever it is. And at least from what I've been seeing, there's a lot, and I'm guilty of this too, for sure. There's a lot around like, you know, we have to like protect our own boundaries and like be aware of like toxic behaviors and red flags and like all these different, especially when it comes to like relationship, not just even romantic.
No,
just,
like
just
in general,
in relationship, in relation to each other.
I think is even more important in some ways than the romantic, because I don't know. I find like we listen to our friends more than our spouses at a certain point. And this is another thing that I think it all comes back. It all feeds the same thing, but certainty. We start to put our spouses, our others, into boxes.
Yeah.
I know everything about my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Yeah. She always does that after this, and on those days of the week, she's always like this.
Yeah.
But that's the story you're telling yourself.
Right.
That is not the truth. That's your truth.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So anyway.
No. Yeah. That's such a great point. As it relates to, just how we relate to each other as human beings. But this empathy piece, I think, is like, it sometimes gets lost in the sauce a little bit of what everybody is sharing and putting out there. And it's like having that sense of empathy. It is, I think, at just kind of the root of all of this. It's like, and it's starts with ourselves, right? It's like, the more empathy and compassion I can have for myself, the more I can have for others. Which I know sounds so cliche, but has been true from my experience. And the other thing that you mentioned too, which I love, and this is something that I've learned a lot, like in men's work and just being in different like programs and things like that. One of the big emphasis has been on judgment and realizing or recognizing when we have judgments about people, and what are the parts of them that I'm seeing that are the parts of myself. And like, you know, there's some really beautiful like exercises that I've been a part of too, where it's having to say that to another man directly, like looking them in the eye, being like, hey, I have this judgment about you as being this person.
Wow.
And saying that judgment and then saying, and that's because I recognize this part of it in myself. And it's either what I've learned and sort of in kind of the lineage of these teachings that I've been a part of,
Mm-hmm.
is that it's either something that we see that exists within ourselves or something that we're missing that we want that this person
Oh, that's
has.
so
Yeah, and
interesting.
that's like what is oftentimes the root of a lot of these judgments. And so, yeah, having that awareness and going through that process um, is like it's so powerful to just clear that. And that's, I think, again, to your point, like where this empathy really comes from, to be like, oh yeah, like that's why I'm feeling this judgment towards this person. And
Wow.
they're, yeah, like and again, it's not to absolve people of accountability and responsibility.
No, that's that, and I think this is we weaponize language in a way which really scares me more and more.
Mm.
And again, it's the seriousness. It's like the blinders on the horse. We only look in this direction, and this is all we see. So you can't change my mind. And so I'm not trying to change your mind, but you should be able to change your own mind.
Mm.
Like that's. Uh, um, I heard this great thing. Health, like body and mind, is the ability to choose.
Mm.
Like
Wow, I love
and to
that.
have the courage to be like, I was wrong. I
Mm.
was judging that person because I've got something in my own shit that I haven't resolved.
Yeah,
It's not her, it's not him, it's me.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I just also wanted just to touch on this because it just really just a light bulb went off. But just saying that thing, hey, I've got this judgment about you.
Mm.
One is like, wow, like if we actually had those conversations, we'd be so much happier with each other. Like, because then we can absolve the fact or like say it out loud that we're all crazy and we all have our own fucking bullshit and we're all broken in our own ways.
Yeah.
And then letting it go, I believe, is also like the path to authenticity. Like,
Mm.
whatever that story is,
Yeah.
let it go.
Yeah.
And if it comes back, maybe it is part of your story. But you've
Yeah.
got to let it go first to know,
For
you
sure.
know?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more, man. And I think like I love the way that you said that, and that, like, if we were having so many more of these conversations, like what would our experience be like with each other? And I think, again, I mean, I'm speaking for myself. I don't want to speak for other people, but I do have this sense that people are, just as a culture, as a society, we are desperate for deeper connection with each other, especially men,
Yes.
especially men.
Mm-hmm.
And having those types of conversations, not only does it lead to, like, I think, more happiness, but it just leads to deeper connection because it's something real. It's
Yes.
something that's like, it, to me, it's a way to hold both. It's a way to hold the seriousness and the absurdity of it all.
Ah, beautiful.
It's
Beautiful.
like, this
Yep.
feels really serious to me,
Mm-hmm.
that I have this judgment against you.
Yep.
And the absurdity of it is because it's something in myself. It's something that I feel is missing in myself, or something that I recognize to also do,
Mm-hmm.
this pattern or behavior. And it opens, like, this bridge. It
Right.
opens this space and the opportunity for that deeper connection.
Right.
And again, we can choose to, kind of step into that.
I just want to just say this. The ego part of my brain came here, and I'm like, oh, I think this is a really important stepping stone to getting to this place.
Mm.
But detaching ourselves from ourselves, like in terms of that judgment, that story,
Mm.
because that's the hardest part to getting there.
Yeah.
So like being like, oh, it's a story, and I could let it go, and just saying it maybe will just dispel its like allure, its strength with me.
Yeah.
But like this notion, whatever the judgment is, like that you just talk a lot because you're insecure, or whatever the judgment is, and
Right.
it's like,
Right.
yeah, but I really believe that, like, and that's the danger going back to of the blinders, of the seriousness. Like, it's mine. I know it to be true. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's the most dangerous part of owning anything so seriously, is it's
Yeah.
like, it's almost like it'll shatter if
Yeah.
you, I don't know, look at it
Yeah.
or try to
Yeah.
put it under the microscope. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it will, because
Mm.
it's not real.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, that's such a beautiful point. And
I don't know if it
yeah.
came out the right way.
No,
I
no,
just,
I hear you. I definitely I resonate with that so deeply. And like, yeah, I mean, that was for me. And I'm laughing now. I think if you had told me that like 6 months ago, I would have had my own judgment about it.
which is normal.
Yeah, but I think now like that is something that I've also, you know, been learning about. And just, yeah, like this process of detachment and letting go of these beliefs, right? These like things that I'm like I held on to so tightly for so long. And yeah, just, ultimately, like, and this has just been my experience, but I think this tends to happen to most of us, whether we're aware of it or not,
Mm-hmm.
is like life tends to show us the ways in which we are holding on so tightly to these beliefs.
Yeah.
And, for me, it really got to a point where I was like, I can either hold on to these and be fucking miserable for the rest of my life, or I can let go and just go
Whoa.
into this abyss, go into this unknown,
And I don't
and
know
have
what
no, I
is
have
going to
no
happen.
clue what's going to happen on the other side. Absolutely no clue. I have no clue who I'm going to become. I have no clue where I'm going to end up. I have no clue who I'm going to meet, the new people that are going to come into my life. And yeah, it was just like ultimately, yeah, life just to me, like it felt like kind of brought me to my knees and was like, yeah, you can hold on if you want. And yeah, things may change a little bit, but it's likely that like this is going to keep happening if you keep holding on to this. And yeah, this idea of like a detachment to it all, because it was so deep, like foundational beliefs and identities that I had, that I think was so helpful to illustrate that same point to me that you were making around this sense of detachment
Yes.
to it all.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And being able to like recognize these patterns and these beliefs, and then yeah, like be able to also let them go. And yeah, I think that's just, to me, like it feels um like just a really, like I feel myself relaxing into this idea that like I don't have to hold on. I don't have to be so tightly
Beautiful.
holding on to all of these different things in my life. And there's this part of me that like, oh man, I just feel like I can kind of breathe a little bit more deeply, and there's just more openness and spaciousness in this idea, um, of, yeah, and recognizing that in life there's always change, there's always constant movement. And if I
More than
try,
you will ever understand as
more than
well.
I will ever understand. Yeah.
That's the other big one.
Yeah. And more than I could possibly even begin to fathom. And, something that for me has also been, um, a practice that I've been integrating for myself, and also in the work that I do with men, and yeah, in a lot of the different trainings that I've been a part of in men's work, is these sort of concepts of like the masculine and feminine, and the feminine just, yeah, being this constant flow of energy that's just always moving, always changing, and the masculine just being the conscious awareness of that energy. And so yeah, and to me there's what comes to mind, and what's the helpful like context, I guess, to embody this in a way. It's like, oh yeah, like that the masculine in me feels, um really good to be able to just relax into that space
Mm-hmm.
of just witnessing,
Right.
without attaching, without needing to grab anything,
Yes.
without needing to like take anything from this energy that's always just flowing around, which is the feminine. um So yeah, anyway, that just was
That's
kind of
fucking,
popped into my mind
dude.
as something, and you know, that's like I sometimes I hesitate to use these terms masculine and feminine just because they can evoke like
I know.
gender things, and that's not it at
It's
all.
not
It's,
it
you
at
know,
all.
we all have masculine and feminine
Mhm.
energy within us.
And the
um,
most beautiful people you will ever meet, at least in my experience, harness both in
mm-hmm,
such a gorgeous way, all uniquely, like they all do it in a different way,
mm-hmm.
but they're playing and both of them are at the table. You
Yeah,
know, I really feel that.
yeah, yeah,
I
absolutely.
just, I have to just, I mean, man, this is such a beautiful conversation already, but there was, you know, in this Buddhism book by Alan Watts, one of the foundational principles of this religion of no religion that he calls it, but that attachment is the root cause of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And if I like, you know, it's a cliche in so many ways, but if I look at myself, then I'm like, yeah, pretty much everything that I've been miserable, I've attached myself. I'm holding fast to it. No, this is my story. This is my story. And then it just falls apart.
Yeah, yeah,
And and then at the very same time, like coming back to this notion of being a man, letting go was the last thing we would have ever heard as a man growing up.
yeah,
Dude, just
ever.
let go.
Yeah,
Let go, man.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
that is not. It's like build it and build it and build it better and build it stronger and make sure you're a real man when you're doing it. And all of this shit, like all these stories, like, and I really attached myself to those stories.
yeah.
And I hated myself for it because it's like
Mm.
I knew it was not my story, but I looked around and I saw all the other men doing it, so I better do it too.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's such a freedom, a sense of like, like I can breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think, you know, like I was even just thinking about it when you were talking of like when you've had a fight with someone you love, how do you feel after that fight? Like if you check in with your body, which most of us don't because we're just so upset with ourselves in our heads. But
Yeah.
if you do, what's that feeling?
Mm.
And I guarantee you, it's not a good feeling. There's a tension and I feel a bit sick. I think I want to throw up. And your body is fucked up.
Yeah.
But you've unconsciously, and this is like this gorgeous thing I'm realizing, we do it to ourselves. In any moment of stress, I better just hold myself really seriously until this is over because that's going to help. No, it's not going to help you.
Yeah.
We've been taught that like when you're doing an exam, you should be rigid and serious and really be present. That's not helping you. Like you're expending energy that doesn't have to be expended in that given moment.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And it's that gorgeous thing, and it comes back to Alan Watts, who I think it was this quote that really got me to want to know more about him. But he goes, no amount of anxiety makes any difference to anything that's going to happen.
Wow.
You know,
Man.
so it's like, oh, I'm worried about my flight. Am I going to catch my connecting flight? You worrying about it over and over and over and over on the flight there is not going to help it. It's not. You know what would? Doing something completely different. Like the opposite, like involving yourself, like picking up a book, drawing, listening to music you love, but like something completely different. Because, and this is the gorgeous truth that I've come to realize with awareness, that no amount of anxiety is going to make any difference to anything that's going to happen.
Wow.
But what can make a difference, at least within myself, within the story I tell myself, is if it's like, it's all going to be okay. If I bring good energy to the table, then all of it's going to be okay. I might still miss my flight, but maybe I was meant to. Who knows?
Yeah.
This is the story I like to tell myself more and more. It's like it's all a game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who do I meet on this, like, while I'm waiting overnight for my flight to get the next flight? Who might I meet? What might happen? What stories might I encounter? Because that's all we can control, is like the moment as we meet it.
Yeah, for sure.
And it doesn't help if we want to throw up.
Yeah. Yes, I couldn't agree more. Oh man, there's so many like, things that came up for me as you were sharing that. Even as you were talking, there's a part of me that was like, just keep listening, like stay present, because
this is the hardest part.
Yeah. which I love. I think that's always to me a sign of like a really beautiful conversation. But yeah, the first thing I want to share is it's so interesting you're sharing that because I was just reflecting back on the time when I first discovered Alan Watts, and I was living in Nicaragua and I found one of his books,
Oh shit.
and it was right at the beginning of COVID, and that was really when I look back, like reflect, like that was, I mean, first obviously all of us just as a society and culture, like such a pivotal moment in time, and I think really like a
Yeah.
radical shift
For so many of
for
us.
so many of us
Mm-hmm.
in so many different ways. For me, I left my job at the beginning of COVID and was just living down in Nicaragua. Was going through some challenges and difficulties in my relationship too. And I remember finding this book, and I was barely working, but like just having enough to basically like live,
Okay.
which
Yep.
I was in a very privileged position to be down there in a place where like it wasn't much.
Sure.
And I was able to survive quite easily on not very much. So, and I found this book with Alan Watts, and I remember just like reading it and starting to like like tap into these concepts and these ideas, and the truth that is something that you touched on, which I find so beautiful and so like it just resonated with me so deeply
Mm-hmm.
and still does, which is like, and I think I always had this like deeper intuitive sense that this was true, but didn't believe my own intuition about it or own
Okay.
sense in it because it was so counter to what I was seeing
Yeah.
in the world,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the men in my life, which was this idea that like, yeah, like stress and anxiety and anger and tension and all these things, they don't help. They don't solve anything.
No.
And it's a normal human reaction to have these feelings, to have these sensations and emotions. But to me, it always like this at that time what I held was I was like, it just feels like a waste of energy
Right.
to be so worked up about this. And then yeah, starting to like, you know, get into these books and these teachings from Alan Watts. Um, yeah, it was just like this light bulb of like, yes, this is what I've been like feeling deeply on this level, but haven't had the language, haven't had the context around it as to like what this really is. And man, I look back on that time in my life and like that was some of the best 6 months of my life. And I'm so privileged to be able to say that because I know COVID was such a rough time for so many.
Mm-hmm.
But like, dude, I was chilling in Nicaragua. I was surfing every day for hours. I was barely working. There was like no one there. I was just chilling, like living in the jungle.
Wow.
And it really was like, yeah, like I felt so detached from all of these stresses, all of these anxieties.
Wow.
And it really did like create such a profound shift in myself of, um, yeah, like I finally feel this sense of um, peace within myself.
Oh.
And I still notice like the stress and the anxiety and the tension like comes back, but my relationship to it is so much different because there's this understanding and there's this now this practice of detachment to it all. Um, so that was the first thing I wanted to share. The other thing I'm curious about from your perspective in your own journey with exploring this. Because what I noticed in myself, and I still do this, I still have this story or belief a little bit, which is that like to be like detached, I often tend to isolate myself as a way to embody this sense of detachment.
Yep.
And yeah, I find that I struggle sometimes with like this desire to be detached and also to like go out and live life. Because like I don't want to be the monk on the mountaintop.
Yep.
not that, again, to say that there's
No.
nothing wrong with that, but that's just not the life that I want to live
Hmm.
either. And
You and me both.
yeah, it's like, and I guess, yeah, the part of that experience when I was living down there, the one that I just described in Nicaragua, was a little bit of that, because like I was like very isolated, as we all were in some ways, but yeah, very much so. Like, I still had community and people I was hanging out with and seeing,
Hmm.
but not a lot,
Not a lot.
and a lot of time alone.
Mm.
And I think that's, yeah, what I needed at that time. But I think now, and I'm curious your perspective on this, is like, how do I still engage with life? How do I still engage and be out there doing things and being with people, and yeah, just being out in the world,
Right.
um, and also bring this sense of like detachment and all these principles and lessons, and yeah, just like, how do I like embody this in my day-to-day life?
Man, it's a beautiful question. I don't know if I can answer it. We'll see. For me, it's like a larger idea that first and foremost, we must do the work.
Mm,
Like, and I mean, like, we need to get to know ourselves.
mm.
And I mean, I can only imagine the old me hearing that line and being like, fuck off. Like, I know myself. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm sure you do. But the most beautiful thing for me is like, what don't you know? Like,
Mm,
what else is there? And at least I can only speak for myself. It's like, who sits on this couch today, I really didn't know existed, just like this, just how weird and crazy and singular. And
yeah.
sometimes shit comes out of my mouth, especially if I'm in the company of people I love. And I'm like, I didn't even know I believed that. But it's more like the
Yeah.
wow, like, so this is what happens when I collapse certainty, when I
Mm,
stop saying, I know what that is.
yeah.
And I just say, like, I'll keep looking
Mm,
because I don't know. I really don't know. Like, oh, that thing I used to say, I borrowed that from that person. Or
mm,
that thing, my dad used to say that.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So these aren't necessarily my truths. They're other people's truths. What do I believe in?
Mm,
And I've really found that there is this gorgeous freedom with that. Now, I have to be careful who I surround myself with, because if they're a little too certain about things, well, that topples me.
mm,
And I've realized that I'm actually a very sensitive person. And if I'm honest, like, I didn't even realize this, but I was an incredibly sensitive kid, and
yeah.
my survival tool was to shut up in like a tortoise shell of sorts,
Yeah.
so that people couldn't hurt me.
Mm,
They still made fun of me for I was incredibly observant.
mm.
So they called me the sponge or whatever they called
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
I now realize like that is the greatest compliment. Like I'm sponging up life
Yeah.
always.
Mm.
And I believe that that is a secret source to being young at heart, is like just constantly soaking up good energies. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and choosing that, like, oh, that dog just like looked at me with love. I'm taking that with me.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. But I think it's so. The long answer here is just like, I just think it's a trial and error, but you need to go and do the work and learn like what's important to you.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's actually a really interesting way to put it, because it's like we think we do know, and maybe we already do know, but it's like, what else is it important to us? What else? What else? Because there's always and,
Mm.
it's never but, I
Yeah.
believe, with us.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Mm.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because that makes so much sense to me as well. Of, yeah, and it's, I, I love the way that you frame that too, of like getting to know ourselves, getting to learn ourselves, like, is, yeah, kind of at the heart of what all this like doing the work really is.
Yeah.
And I think, and this is something I as well like have learned for myself, and really like what is also a kind of the essence of the work that I do with men too, is because, to your point, I was the same way. If I said that to myself 5 years ago or 6 years ago, I'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I know who I am. I
Dude,
know myself."
fuck off, you know?
And
Like,
I'm realizing that, like, oh, I knew a version of myself. I knew the identities and the beliefs
Mhm.
that I had been that had been kind of conditioned into me.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that version of myself really well. Everything that's underneath that, I have no fucking clue.
Right.
I've never even paused to consider
Mm-hmm.
that there was anything else available. And that's what I think I find with so many men that I've worked with, and this is probably true for women too, for all of us in some ways, which is just that, yeah, like we get so conditioned and we create these identities again as survival mechanisms to keep ourselves safe.
Mm-hmm.
And something happens in life that gives us this moment of awareness and clarity of like, oh, there may be a whole other thing over here. There may be a whole other parts of myself that I don't know, that I don't. And you know, maybe there's always this deeper intuitive knowing, but we just shut it out over and over for years and years and years until it's just barely perceptible, but it's still there. And then something happens in life that just creates some space and some illumination on it in some way.
Beautiful illumination.
And then it's like, oh shit. And then for me, what I've learned, and I think this is true too for so many men, it's like, then I can't unsee it. I can't not know that that's also there.
Right.
And I can choose to continue to ignore it as well.
Yeah. But it's like this notion, like you're having dinner and it's like this huge elephant.
Yeah,
It's just sitting there and you're like, I'm going to choose to not look at you today. And you're like, but it's there.
But it's there. It's there for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I love the way that you describe that of just, getting to like, to really know ourselves. And it's interesting because I know you said it's like learning about these parts of ourselves. And I think for me, it's almost kind of this process of both. It's like a learning and an unlearning.
Oh, thank you. That's a
mean?
very important part. Yes. Just quickly to just slide on in there of like, you know, I was even writing about it this week. It's like we need to make space for new ideas, which means that we've got to get rid of the old ones. And we all have shit in our cupboards that have been there too long, you know, like dirty underwear or things where it's like, why have I still got that? That's like 20 years ago. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the ideas. Like, oh, that's my dad's idea of that. No, I don't actually like. I don't know if I love my dad, but no, it's not my story. I want a new story, whatever it is. And they're some of the hardest ones to get rid of. I'll be honest.
For sure.
I don't know why I picked that one, but you have to make space.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because like I couldn't agree more. And to kind of riff off of that a little bit, like I think what I'm discovering too, and I'm curious how your experience has been with this, is like once we're able to create that space, once we're able to start this process of doing the work, letting go of all of these old beliefs, all these old stories, all the things that we hold on to for so long that are just time to get rid of and let go of. Like, I know for me, when I first started doing this, I was like, okay, so how do I figure out now like who I am? Like who am I like without all this, right? Like, you know, and that's obviously such a terrifying thing. But one thing I noticed as well, and this is something, and we were kind of talking about this a little bit at the beginning, something that's been really present for me recently too, is like as men, when we're asking ourselves that question, we always try and figure it out in the mind. I did this for years, years and years. It's like, who am I? Okay, I'm this person. Let me just like attach next to this identity and do it and whatever. And now what I'm starting to see and realize is like, what I find for me when I discover, oh, this is what's really true for me, and I can feel it in my body. I can feel this like knowing that like, yeah, this is part of me. This is part of who I am, part of my essence.
Yes.
You know, at that just like deepest soul level of who I am. It's in the doing. It's in the living. It's in like when I do go out and say something or like just going to do. It's not for me a process of, okay, let me go do the breath work and then let me write in my journal and let me like, okay, here's who I am. You know, let me like, just here's who I am. And I define, and that's not to say that that's not important. I mean, I still, I journal every day and I do these things every day,
Yeah.
but um, yeah, that's what I'm really finding. And I think, yeah, as men especially, like we just get so fixated on trying
Yeah.
to answer these massive
Mm-hmm.
questions, especially of like who we are, what our values are, what's our purpose, and that's so hard to find. To me, it's impossible to find here in the mind. It's in the body,
it's
and
not possible. It's
yeah,
just not.
it's just not
You
possible.
cannot find it there.
You
It's
can't
not
find
where
it there.
it is.
Yeah, it's not where it lives.
You know, it's like your keys
Yeah.
are not in the fridge. You've already looked there. So if you keep opening it and being like, I think I didn't check behind the milk, it's not in there.
It's not in there. It's
I
just
think
not in there.
we are so good at just like hitting the same fucking nail. Like, even if it's already in, we'll just keep it. It's like, leave it alone. But yes, man, I just want to say fucking thank you, because it's like, it's only in the doing. And I know it's a scary thing. Well, actually, one thing before I just jump in on that, be kind to yourself. Like, you are going to make the same mistakes over and over again. Yeah. So just be kind. Like, as men, at least the ones I've spent most of my life around, we beat the shit out of ourselves when we fuck up. Yeah. It's like, bro, what the fuck, you fucking idiot. Yeah, let me kick that desk there. Fuck, shit. Yeah. And it's like, that's same like anxiety. It's not helping the situation. It's not. If you want to kick it, go ahead, give it a kick. But like, it's not going to help the situation. Like, just be kind. Like, if anything, do something nice for yourself. Like, just go sit somewhere in the park and just lie down and look at the trees. Yeah. Just do something good for yourself. Yeah. Because that's the only thing that's going to like change that habit. Change the habit.
Yeah. Exactly.
Fuck.
Well, just to jump in there really quick.
Yeah. Get in there.
I love that you said that, and I think that's so important. And I think that exactly illustrates for me like this thing of like the doing, because it's like, if you do something as men, if we're able to do something for ourselves, like we are creating a shift in that moment that might be different than the stories and beliefs that we've always done. Like maybe we've always just been kicking the table. Yeah. And so if we make that shift to say, okay, I'm going to instead like go breathe. If I'm going to just like go for a walk, go outside, like whatever it is. Mm-hmm. It's in that doing that we discover who we are.
Thank you.
Right? It's like those are the moments that we can really discover, because, and again, like, and I'm so glad you said that about being kind to ourselves, because yeah, you might not kick the table. You might go for a walk and you might be like, oh, this isn't it either.
Right.
This isn't like, yeah, it's something new and it's something different, but it's not, but that's okay too, because the not knowing also gets you closer to knowing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So and that's also just incredibly valuable information and feedback that we can get from the world and from life of, just doing in the action, in those moments of, finding that like discovery. And I'm curious if maybe you've had that feeling and that sensation and experience where it's like, you do something that's different, that's a new that's a new habit, that's a new way of experiencing life in the world, and you're like, oh yeah, this is it. This is who I am.
Yeah. I mean,
this is
And I just want to say, because the very first thing, I came through the door this morning, like, what's been going on? And I'm like, oh well, it's been my first week back in Lisbon, like kind of, now that I'm here again, and it's like, I had a fear. So this just shows like I am nowhere close to climbing the mountain here, but it's like, I'm really scared about falling into old habits. It's something that I'm just so conscious that I'm so good once I find things I like, the coffee shop, the supermarket, I go there and I just go there. So it's an unconscious habit, like, and I can do other things, but I've also found that traps me. And what do I want more than anything? To live life in discovery, to live life in surprise. Because as you said so beautifully, yes, that's where like the greatest moments of any given week come from.
Mm.
I walked into this new coffee shop and it was all different. I didn't understand it, and they didn't speak English, but I had the best coffee I've ever had, or whatever the
Yeah.
fucking story
Yeah.
is. But it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, it's only in those moments of not knowing that we can break and learn and bring new things into our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the danger. I'm going to keep coming back to this because I think it's important of the blinders. Because the
Yes.
blinders usually mean like it's a certain way of doing things, a certain way of saying things, a certain way of acting and behaving. And I pick this side all the time, and I don't pick that side for these reasons. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Good for you. You know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. What's over there? What's over there?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I've really found like a big part of this beyond like positive reinforcement of like every time it's a ritual for me, it's above my desk. When you scare yourself, spoil yourself. So it's
Mm.
like so your brain is like, hey, good things usually come when you scare yourself. Like I
Yeah.
get a treat, some chocolate, like a fucking child. Like
Yeah. You're
that's
training yourself.
I'm training myself
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
dog. Like yeah, good boy, you did it.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that so
I'll
much.
be honest, like that really has been a game
Oh
changer for
man,
me.
you know, as men, we are simple creatures, guys. Like we're not, it's not that complicated.
Oh man,
Oh man, I love that so much, dude. I'm gonna steal that for sure. I
please.
need to start spoiling myself more,
Well,
especially when I scare myself. 'Cause that's
it's I for me, it's the larger thing of like the dollar amount. It's like
yeah,
oh like ice cream after I fell over. Like oh okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Like maybe I
yeah,
should fall over more. And it's like yeah, you should.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's usually when we fall over in life, and it's interesting I just said that because it's like when I've fallen over like big time, breakups, like lose my job, like, I don't
Mm,
know what I'm doing, leave a country, like head down, like I really fucked that up, like that was a bad choice. That's where I learn the most,
yeah, absolutely.
like, and what is it? It's like the motivation. It's like I don't really want to do this again. I don't want to have to be in this situation again. So what went wrong? So I can at least learn that.
Mm.
Oh, okay, you've made that choice. Oh, that's an awful one. That's bad. Like I was so negative about this. Oh, and you see some ugly shit in the postmortem. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie,
yeah,
but we all have it.
yes,
We've all got our dirty laundry.
yeah.
And when we try to just put a shit under the bed like it never happened,
Mm,
that just makes it worse. And it
mm.
starts to stink.
Yeah.
The more shit we put under the bed, it stinks.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, it did
Yeah.
for me.
No, no, no. Yeah, that's I love that analogy too, and it's so true. And it's like there's so many. I think it illustrates like so many of these like themes that we've been talking about too. One around just the um yeah, like when we stuff all that dirty laundry away and we don't acknowledge it, it's like the same as having the blinders on with the seriousness. It's
Yeah.
like we're not allowing ourselves to see all of what's there,
Yeah.
and which is, again, it's a very human thing to do.
Yeah.
um and yeah, also too, like, shit, I kind of lost the second point that I was going to make there.
No, that's all
But
right.
yeah, just with like the sense of um yeah, the scariness and jumping on, like taking the risk, falling over, and then having that sense of reward afterwards. Like, I think it's so interesting you say that too, because that's something that's really been coming up for me as well recently, like in the last week or so. And a lot of it, even now hearing you say that, what comes up for me is this idea or theme of like self-worth
Uh,
and the spoiling.
you don't deserve it.
I don't, dude. That is the story that is so deeply ingrained.
Yeah.
And like, oh man, I'm even like getting emotional like thinking about it, because it's like it's fucking painful for me to recognize and see all the ways in which I don't feel that sense of worthiness. Like, I really don't feel like I deserve it
Oh,
in
fuck me,
life.
man.
And it's fucking brutal. And it's also I can laugh about it too. It's absurd.
Thank you, brother.
It's absurd.
Man,
Why do I feel like I don't deserve it?
Isn't that incredible?
I can't even think. I mean, yes, of course, I can point to and, you know, maybe tie the thread to like childhood experiences, whatever. But like, it's absurd.
It's absurd.
It's absurd that any of us
Yeah.
have any sense of like, I don't deserve these things, and to really like have this awareness of how deep it runs,
Oh,
like how deep these beliefs really go.
Yeah.
Even this fucking plant that I just bought yesterday. I have to tell you this story. I have been going to the plant store that is less than a block. It's 30 seconds away. I've been going there for like 2 months. And I just walk in and I look at the plant and I'm like, not today. Not today. And I've known exactly where I want to put it, and I know the spot that I wanted it to be in for like months at a time. And I have just been operating in this place of I have to earn it.
Yeah.
I have to do something to get it, to earn it, to deserve it. And man, dude, just the pressure that was building.
Oh, I know this feeling so well.
And I finally went out, and even in the store yesterday, I literally just got it yesterday. Wow. I was there at the store, and it was the exact same experience that I'd been in over and over again. And I finally was able to like hear this deeper part of myself that was like, yes, say yes, just do it, do the different thing today. And I bought it, and I walked out of there with the biggest fucking grin on my face, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy how much joy I'm getting out of this fucking plant.
Wow.
But it really, and it was like, this feels so good to show myself that I like deserve this plant without doing anything, without feeling this like, I have to go do all these things before I can get, anything that brings me joy.
Man, what a beautiful fucking story.
Yeah, and the other piece too that I just want to touch on, because I think like it was such a wild, I don't know, reframe or just perspective. I was like, oh man, it also like it just felt like I opened the release valve on that pressure that I was feeling in myself to just be like, holy. And then again, it comes back to the absurdity of it all. It's like, it's a fucking plant, man. Like, why were you making such a huge deal out of this plant?
So
it is absurd that you are creating such a buildup of stress and anxiety and tension in yourself, in your body, over a fucking plant.
I would just love, like, if anyone resonates with the story, just to like, I don't know how you let us know, but just to fucking share it, because it's like, I think it's one of the hardest things I had to face with myself, is that I used to say it so seriously, again, with this blind as bullshit. I don't deserve it. Whatever I really wanted, I don't deserve it yet. I don't deserve it yet. I don't deserve it yet. When?
Yeah.
And if I'm honest with myself, if I ask my old self, like, when is that? Soon. You could be dead soon. Like, so you're denying the thing that you could actually go and do for yourself. You can do it, like whatever it is. You choose not to. Like that, if there is a definition for absurdity, it has to be this.
Yes.
Like, wow, I'm just thinking like a short film just in my head of you showing up to this florist every fucking day, like having a look. No, not today. That's funny to me, like, but in the most beautiful way of like, this guy's awesome. Like, why doesn't he buy it for himself?
Right. Yeah.
But you, in your mind, in yours, like, not yet. I don't deserve it yet.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Of course, man. Yeah, and thank you for sharing that too, that reflection, because that's like, so like at the essence of all of this, of like, feeling like I had to do something. And when I would ask myself, for me, it was always like, oh, I need to get, this amount of money. I need to get this number of clients. I
Oh,
need to do
check.
this thing. Yeah, and then I'll deserve it.
Yeah.
Then I'll
And I'll be honest, and I think this is a really, I'm so happy we stumbled over here because I think this is a really key part. But when I was starting out, I was much more serious about it all. Like whatever it was, like if I meet these metrics, then I get the ice cream.
Yeah.
Then I'll get the ice cream.
Exactly.
And then I had these moments like through the months of like, I'm really sad today. I'm just fucking sad. Everything I try like just doesn't seem to come off. And I remember there was this whisper like through meditation. It was a beautiful day out, and I was forcing myself to stay inside because I'm like, well, you haven't earned the right. You don't deserve to go outside and sit in the sun yet.
Yeah.
And then there was a certain thing with meditation of like, go do it
anyway.
And I remember like I think it took me a few days or weeks to like listen to that.
Yeah.
But when I did, and I was sad, and I had the ice cream, and I sat in the sun, I felt better. And I actually, not always, but I had more inspiration to go and do the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And just from the letting go, the surrendering, and like, but then tying it with something like the present, the happiness, the joy that usually would come from meeting the goal. I actually found like, oh, I've just created a new rule for myself, and this actually really helps me.
Wow.
And I know it's not cheating. Like there is no even that notion. Like, oh, you're cheating if you do. Yeah. What does that mean?
Yeah. What does that even mean?
If the goal is to make yourself better, like, and I've actually found like when I do better, when I feel better, I do better.
Right.
When I feel better, I do better.
Right.
So what can get me to feel better?
Yeah.
Well, give yourself what you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that is radical for a man, I have to say.
It really is. Yeah, for sure. And I think like this is two things. One, the first thing that came to mind was just like, as it relates to the cheating thing, it's like, by which rules, right? Which rules are we breaking by doing this?
Right.
Which I think is kind of an aha moment for a lot of men, myself included, to be like, oh yeah, like, what are these rules that I'm creating for myself?
Yep.
That aren't even really mine.
Thank you.
That I just was told that these are the rules of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back to the game theme of life, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and the other thing too, that this is like, man, it's so wild to me. This has come up, I think, in almost every conversation. We've probably already talked about it at some point, but almost every conversation I have, which is that for men, we are so deeply conditioned to believe that our worthiness as human beings is only based on our output. It's only based on our productivity.
Ooh.
It's only based on what we do and accomplish.
What have you done?
What have you done?
What have you done?
How much money do you have? How many women have you slept with? How many cars do you have? What's the size of your house?
Yeah.
You know, all this.
How big's your dick?
How big's
like,
all of it?
But
it's all this output and productivity that we measure ourselves as worthiness of just simply being human, of existing in the world. And
oh my God.
Taking a step back from that, it's also, to your point, like such a radical thing to pause and be like, simply by existing in this world, I deserve to have the ice cream, to buy the plant, to, you know, receive money, to receive love, to receive abundance, just by simply existing in the world. And that, like, I mean, even now I'm like, holy shit, yeah, like what a radical thing for men to be like, yeah, go do all the things. I'm not saying don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing and that's beautiful and something to also be very to honor and to acknowledge. But when we derive our sense of self-worth from only those things, it just, because then, you know, we when those things go away, which they ultimately will, what are we left with?
Yes. Thank you, man. I think it's one of the most beautiful ways to round out today. I just think it's like such a, it's really got me very quiet in the most beautiful way, because it's like, that's how I was raised. I think that's how every man in so many ways is raised. Um, and yet, I just had me just thinking about a recent trip to Bali,
Mm,
and I was reading this Buddhism book, this Alan Watts book, at the same time that I was there. And there was this notion that really hit me, especially with Balinese men,
mm,
who I've never met anyone quite like. These kinds of men where they smile at you with like a love that
mm,
I've never really seen in a man's gaze before.
mm.
And it has nothing to do with sexuality
Yeah,
or attraction or any of this shit that we would being like, be careful, bro. If like a guy
yeah,
smiles at you like that, bro.
yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's just like, I see you.
Mm.
And
Wow.
there's this gorgeous idea of like in Buddhism that, and it's a larger idea, but it's like when you smile at a stranger, you are smiling at yourself
Mm.
because we are all connected. We're all here existing.
Yeah.
And I that like really stays with me more and more. And I remember writing like down when I was there, like the Balinese make me want to be a better person.
Mm.
And one way I just discovered, like, well, how can I action this? And it's like, be that energy, be that to other people, give
Mm.
that to other people, no
Yeah.
matter who they are,
Right.
especially if they're a stranger.
Yeah. Mm.
Um, and
Wow.
just let that be a, like, what's going on here? Like,
Mm.
I don't meet this kind of energy. And it's like, we can be the change we want to see in the world. And I
Mm.
think that's something that I've realized that's the how I don't make it about myself and I don't get caught as much in the bullshit of my mind
Yeah.
because it's serving a larger truth here. It's like it's not mine. I'm just taking what I love and sharing it.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
bigger than me. It has nothing to do with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I love that. It sounds like, in a way, it's like embodying that larger truth in my own unique way
right.
and sharing it and expressing it. So yeah, it's part of this something that's bigger and outside of myself.
Yeah.
And here's how, yeah, I can take it and express it in my own
Right.
unique way.
Yeah. And I'm
embodied
going to
way.
be very transparent here. Like I am no Gandhi here. Like I'm also doing this because I realize it helps me be less anxious.
Yeah.
Less like
Yeah.
in my head, less like me, less like the world's going to end.
Yeah, there is like an inherent level of selfishness to it.
Oh, I'm not
Which,
denying.
Yeah,
I want to just make it clear, like
Yeah.
that's the impetus, but then the feeling I get as a result of making a stranger smile is wonderful.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like, oh, I feel better. I did this the other day at one of the coffee shops. It just like randomly hit me, and again, it was like this deeper, intuitive hit and pull that I was like, yeah, just like at this coffee shop working. I saw this woman who was doing kind of her own thing, and as I was getting up, we kind of just like made eye contact, and I smiled, and she smiled, and that was it. And then I went up, and I was like, oh, I should get her coffee. And I will admit, like, there was this part of me of like, is this like, an ego thing? Do I want the number? Do I want
something?
am I trying to get something out of this experience? And then I was like, oh, okay, is this an opportunity to practice just the giving, just the pay it forward type of thing? Because it would feel good. It would feel good to do that. And yeah, and it did. And I was saying this to like the clerk. I was like, hey, like I want to buy that person's coffee. And she said the same thing. She was like, oh, do you want like me to leave your number or like it's? And I was like, no, I don't. That's not what this is about. I want to just pay it forward. Like I want to just have that energy.
That's fucking cool.
And it was funny because she was kind of like, oh, okay, like a little bit surprised in that way. Which yeah, it was, and it was. I honestly, I like kind of forgot about it.
Wow.
Today, but yeah, it was just like that same kind of idea of this feels like a way for me to kind of embody this larger truth of how do I, share love? How do I share this? While also like knowing that it's going to make me feel good. Right. It's going to make me feel good to do that.
And I just sort of want to round this out because I think this is actually really beautiful. I mean, I love that fucking story, man. It really inspires me. on like the conversation we had last week around what do I get out of it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do all of this work for myself. What do I get? And what's so beautiful about choices like this is it's not about you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, oh, I feel good. But someone else got their coffee like picked up for them. Like, who knows what that might have done for the rest of their day.
Right.
Now, I don't like this notion of like, it's all monetary. No, it's like, it's an act and it's a gesture.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like the more we make it, like the less we make it about ourselves, the happier we can all be. Like
yeah. Yeah. Let's leave it right there. I think that's the perfect place to end. Yeah.
Let's leave it there.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Well, Jesus, man, that was gorgeous. Wow.
Wow.